Hey, Flo here. Made it to the very top. It was quite a grueling slog for me because I'm in terrible shape, but I made it, and that's all that really matters. It's time to eat a snack. I had one fig bar on the way up, but generally didn't eat much of anything the whole time. So I'm quite ready for something. I don't know if those sun rays show up, but they're pretty cool looking. I thought I heard somebody talking, but not seeing anybody. Unfortunately and surprisingly, the signal up here is pretty terrible. I thought it would be good because there's such a good panoramic view. There's barely anybody climbing this thing. I saw 2 people the whole time. There might be more still coming up, I don't know. It's weird, the signal is kind of going up and up and down fairly inconsistently. All right, if I can get my throat cleared, do a Bible reading up here. Oh, kind of the whole reason I went over there was to check this, and I forgot. Okay. I'll probably be choking for a while because somehow I managed to send some trail mix down the wrong pipe. Little bits of it. Ugh. Terrible. There's some iffy clouds. I don't know what's going on. Probably should check the weather just in case. I don't know. I don't think there's a forecast for up here really in my app, so. Oh, I hate that because sometimes it can take like all day, like definitely hours to get that cleared if it's really bad. All right, so we're going to read Judges 1 through 4 and John 21. The signal, oh, it's bad. It's really bad. The signal, might not be good enough even to change the slides, so there'll probably be a massive delay. Oh, crap. Can't believe I did that. I don't know how I'm ever going to solve that. So, man, if you do it to a certain high level of horribleness, then seems like you'd have to go to the doctor or something, like swallow gigantic objects down into your lungs. Ugh. This sucks. Sucks. Sorry for the coughing. I don't know if I can even do a reading at this point. It's pretty bad. Like little hazardous objects. Not everywhere, but there's definitely some of them. Like, seen pieces of glass. That was just a little rusted nail. And there's another one over there. And there's a bunch of them. I don't know if that means I wonder if they had a tower here at one time. That'd be crazy. This is going to be a disaster read, but the signal is almost non-existent. It might depend on like where I'm sitting or standing or whatever. Like if the signal's coming from that side of the mountain, then I probably have to hold it up higher or something. I had a signal just a minute ago. Probably just because I put it down on the ground, it didn't have any clearance or line of sight, whatever. Clouds coming from over here are... I don't get it. I was sitting like right here before and I had a signal. It's weird. So I have to stand up, walk around, see if there's a place that has a better signal. Sometimes I've found you have to reset your phone. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. But I've had to do that many times over the years. Generally speaking, if the signal goes dead, it doesn't mean there's no signal. It just means something weird's going on with your phone and you just have to reset it. More often than not, that's the case. But if I can't get this phone to work, then I can't really do a reading. It's nonsense. Alright. Didn't really want to reset it because I have a track recording here, but I guess I'll just restart that. Stupid. if that doesn't do it, then I guess I'm out of luck. This really sucks because I had a signal a minute ago. Come on, slow phone. Yeah, like what in the world? I don't understand that little minus with a circle around it. I used to think that means no signal. It doesn't. I don't know what it means. I have no idea. I have no clue. Oh, do not disturb, I guess. Okay, I did not realize that. Okay, at the moment, I have a signal. It's maybe not amazing, but... Alright, well, I'll come over, sit over here again, and see if I can, or hope that it stays going. It might just be when I sit down over here, but it's just like, it went from 4 bars to like, boink, gone. That's craziness. Oh, okay. Either that means I need to stand up, or just this area like right over here is awful. I don't know. Super annoying though. Restart again. I guess just don't sit down. Probably makes sense. I wanted to get a reading over here just because it's a different angle, but the real attraction's over that way, so spin it around in a minute. And it's possible I think there is the cell tower over there somewhere. I remember I had a website that showed cell towers and I was looking at this area a couple weeks ago, and I seem to remember there might have been one over there somewhere. So I probably should stay on that side. There's the signal again. I might try to do a standing one. I wish I knew what it looked like. I can't see. I think I had it on the wide angle, so I could probably show. I can probably stand over here. Okay, we'll try it. No concept of what kind of angle we have. But we'll give it a shot. It's the only way to do it. At least on that side. Oops. Come on. I hate this shirt. My shirt was probably showing my underwear or back or whatever because it's super short. I'm out of shirts. All my shirts are dirty. This is the only one I could find. Well, like all my hiking shirts, I should say. Okay, well, I'll try this. I don't know if it's going to be presentable, but we'll give it a shot. I have to stay standing or this will die instantly. So we'll try to read Judges 1 through 4, John 21. I really don't like standing either. My legs and back, it's hard. Judges chapter 1. After the death of Joshua, the Israelites inquired of the Lord, "Who will be the first to go up and fight for us against the Canaanites?" "Judah shall go up," answered the Lord. "Indeed, I have delivered the land into their hands." Then the men of Judah said to their brothers, the Simeonites, oh shoot, I have no idea if I'm recording this. Oh yeah, good. Let's just start over. Judges chapter 1. After the death of Joshua, the Israelites inquired of the Lord, "Who will be the first to go up and fight for us against the Canaanites?" "Judah shall go up," answered the Lord. "Indeed, I have delivered the land into their hands." Then the men of Judah said to their brothers, the Simeonites, "Come up with us to our allotted territory." It's terrible. It's terrible. It's really bad. I don't like it at all. I don't like it. The stupid stuff in my throat is going to be there for hours. Then the men of Judah said to their brothers, the Simeonites, "Come up with us to our allotted territory, and let us fight against the Canaanites. And we likewise will go with you to your territory." So the Simeonites went with them. When Judah attacked, the Lord delivered the Canaanites and Perizzites into their hands, and they struck down 10,000 men at Bezek. And there they found Adonai-Bezek, and fought against him, striking down And there they found Adonai-Bezek, and fought against him, striking down the Canaanites and Perizzites. As Adonai-Bezek fled, they pursued him, seized him, and cut off his thumbs and big toes. Then Adonai-Bezek said, 70 kings with their thumbs and big toes. 70 kings with their thumbs and big toes. Oh, there's the person coming, all right. Wait on this.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you? Did you run all the way?
Yeah.
What? That's insane.
Oh, this is a nicer summit than I was expecting. This is sick.
Is this your first time?
Yeah, first time being up here.
Yeah, same here. It's too bad that it's a little bit smoky, but
I know. I'm glad it's not worse from the, what is it, the immigrant fire over there?
yeah, it's not as bad as I thought, but
Yeah.
So what was your time?
An hour, 2 minutes up.
What? That is crazy.
Hey man, have a good one.
Thanks, you too. Actually got halfway decent signal on that last test. I mean, it's not enough to live stream, but it's not the worst I've ever seen. Okay, I think I'm going to start over. I didn't see that guy coming, so I sort of I'm going to start over. That's what I'm going to say. All right. I need to get a couple of readings done up here, so I need to keep moving. Hopefully a ton of people don't all of a sudden show up, but I mean, that's totally cool if they do, but I did want to get a reading in up here. It's a pretty rare opportunity to be up here. I have no idea if I'm in frame. I can't tell where that thing's pointed. Hopefully it's good. Judges chapter 1. After the death of Joshua, the Israelites inquired of the Lord, "Who will be the first to go up and fight for us against the Canaanites?" "Judah shall go up," answered the Lord. "Indeed, I have delivered the land into their hands." Then the men of Judah said to their brothers the Simeonites, "Come up with us to our allotted territory, and let us fight against the Canaanites. And we likewise will go with you to your territory." So the Simeonites went with them. When Judah attacked, the Lord delivered the Canaanites and Perizzites into their hands, and they struck down 10,000 men at Bezek. And there they found Adoni-Bezek and fought against him, striking down the Canaanites and Perizzites. As Adoni-Bezek fled, they pursued him, seized him, and cut off his thumbs and big toes. Then Adoni-Bezek said, 70 kings with their thumbs and big toes cut off have gathered the scraps under my table. As I have done to them, so God has repaid me. And they brought him to Jerusalem, where he died. Then the men of Judah fought against Jerusalem and captured it. They put the city to the sword and set it on fire. Afterward the men of Judah marched down to fight against the Canaanites living in the hill country, in the Negev, and in the foothills. Judah also marched against the Canaanites who were living in Hebron, formerly known as Kiriath Arba, and they struck down Sheshai, Ahiman, and Talmai. From there they marched against the inhabitants of Debir, formerly known as Kiriath Sepher. And Caleb said, "To the man who strikes down Kiriath Sepher and captured it." To the man who strikes down Kiriath Sepher, can't say that word. And Caleb said, "To the man who strikes down Kiriath Sepher and captures it, I will give my daughter Achsah in marriage. I will give my daughter Achsah in marriage." So Othniel, son of Caleb's younger brother Kenaz, captured the city, and Caleb gave his daughter Achsah to him in marriage. One day Achsah came to Othniel and urged him to... This is weird. Does it repeat stuff? I'm confused. I guess it has the same stuff that was in Joshua, I guess. Weird. Okay, I'll just read it. I don't remember, but I thought I read this already. So Othniel, son of Caleb's younger brother Kenaz, captured the city, and Caleb gave his daughter Achsah to him in marriage. One day Achsah came to Othniel and urged him to ask her father for a field. When she got off her donkey, Caleb asked her, "What do you desire?" "Give me a blessing," she answered. Since you have given me land in the Negev, give me springs of water as well." So Caleb gave her both the upper and lower springs. Now the descendants of Moses' father-in-law the Kenite went up with the men of Judah from the city of palms to the wilderness of Judah in the Negev near Arad. They went to live among the people. Then the men of Judah went with their brothers the Simeonites, attacked the Canaanites living in Zephath, and devoted the city to destruction. So it was called Hormah. And Judah also captured Gaza, Ashkelon, and Ekron, each with its territory. The Lord was with Judah, and they took possession of the hill country, but they could not drive out the inhabitants of the plains, because they had chariots of iron. Just as Moses had promised, Judah gave Hebron to Caleb, who drove out the descendants of the 3 sons of Anak. The Benjamites, however, failed to drive out the Jebusites living in Jerusalem. So to this day the Jebusites live there among the Benjamites. The house of Joseph also attacked Bethel, and the Lord was with them. They sent spies to Bethel, formerly known as Luz, and when the spies saw a man coming out of the city, they said to him, "Please show us how to get into the city, and we will treat you kindly." So the man showed them the entrance to the city, and they put the city to the sword, but released that man and all his family. And the man went to the land of the Hittites, built a city, and called it Luz, which is its name to this day. At that time Manasseh failed to drive out the inhabitants of Beth-shean, Tanakh, Dor, Ibleam, Megiddo, and their villages, for the Canaanites were determined to dwell in that land. When Israel became stronger, they pressed the Canaanites into forced labor, but they never drove them out completely. Ephraim also failed to drive out the Canaanites living in Gezer. So the Canaanites continued to dwell among them in Gezer. Zebulun failed to drive out the inhabitants of Kitron and Nahalal. So the Canaanites lived among them and served as forced laborers. Asher failed to drive out the inhabitants of Akko, Sidon, Alab, Aksib, Helba, Aphik, and Rehob. So the Asherites lived among the Canaanite inhabitants of the land, because they did not drive them out. Naphtali failed to drive out the inhabitants of Beth-shemesh and Beth-anath. So the Naphtalites also lived among the Canaanite inhabitants of the land, but the inhabitants of Beth-shemesh and Beth-anath served them as forced laborers. The Amorites forced the Danites into the hill country and did not allow them to come down into the plain. And the Amorites were determined to dwell in Mount Heres, Aijalon, and Shaalbim. But when the house of Joseph grew in strength, they pressed the Amorites into forced labor. And the border of the Amorites extended from the ascent of Akrabim to Selah and beyond. More of these super difficult names. And my feet hurt a lot when I have to stand. That's why I was hoping to be able to sit, but the signal dies if I do. Judges chapter 2. Now the angel of the Lord went up from Gilgal to Bochim, and said, I brought you up out of Egypt and led you into the land that I had promised to your fathers. And I said, I will never break my covenant with you, and you are not to make a covenant with the people of this land, but you shall tear down their altars. Yet you have not obeyed my voice. What is this you have done? So now I tell you that I will not drive out these people before you. They will be thorns in your sides, and their gods will be a snare to you. When the angel of the Lord had spoken these words to all the Israelites, the people lifted up their voices and wept. So they called that place Bochim and offered sacrifices there to the Lord. After Joshua had dismissed the people, the Israelites went out to take possession of the land, each to his own inheritance. And the people served the Lord throughout the days of Joshua, and of the elders who outlived him, who had seen all the great works that the Lord had done for Israel. And Joshua son of Nun, the servant of the Lord, died at the age of 110. They buried him in the land of his inheritance, at Timnath-Heres, in the hill country of Ephraim, north of Mount Gash. After that whole generation had also been gathered to their fathers, another generation rose up, who did not know the Lord, or the works that he had done for Israel. And the Israelites did evil in the sight of the Lord, and served the Baals. Thus they forsook the Lord, the God of their fathers, who had brought them out of the land of Egypt, and they followed after various gods of the peoples around them. They bowed down to them and provoked the Lord to anger. For they forsook him, and served Baal and the Ashtoreths. Then the anger of the Lord burned against Israel, and he delivered them into the hands of those who plundered them. He sold them into the hands of their enemies all around, whom they were no longer able to resist. Wherever Israel marched out, the hand of the Lord was against them to bring calamity, just as he had sworn to them. So they were greatly distressed. Then the Lord raised up judges, who saved them from the hands of those who plundered them. Israel, however, did not listen to their judges. Instead, they prostituted themselves with other gods and bowed down to them. They quickly turned from the way of their fathers, who had walked in obedience to the Lord's commandments. They did not do as their fathers had done. Whenever the Lord raised up a judge for the Israelites, he was with that judge and saved them from the hands of their enemies while the judge was still alive. For the Lord was moved to pity by their groaning under those who oppressed them and afflicted them. But when the judge died, the Israelites became even more corrupt than their fathers, going after other gods to serve them and bow down to them. They would not give up their evil practices and stubborn ways. So the anger of the Lord burned against Israel, and he said, "Because this nation has transgressed the covenant I laid down for their fathers, and has not heeded my voice, I will no longer drive out before them any of the nations Joshua left when he died. In this way I will test whether Israel will keep the way of the Lord by walking in it as their fathers did." That is why the Lord had left those nations in place and had not driven them out immediately by delivering them into the hand of Joshua. Man, it's painful. I'm hoping when I'm done with this reading I can go on that side and maybe I don't have to stand over there if the cell tower is over there. I didn't bring my chair today, unfortunately. It's too much to carry. Judges chapter 3. These are the nations that the Lord left to test all the Israelites who had not known any of the wars in Canaan, if only to teach warfare to the subsequent generations of Israel, especially to those who had not known it formerly. The 5 rulers of the Philistines, all the Canaanites, the Sidonians, and the Hivites who lived in the mountains of Lebanon, from Mount Baal Hermon to Lebo Hamath. These nations were left to test the Israelites, to find out whether they would keep the commandments of the Lord, which he had given their fathers through Moses. Thus the Israelites continued to live among the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. And they took the daughters of these people in marriage, gave their own daughters to their sons, and served their gods. So the Israelites did evil in the sight of the Lord. They forgot the Lord their God, and served the Baals and the Asherahs. Then the anger of the Lord burned against Israel, and he sold them into the hand of Cushan-Rishathaim, king of Aram Naharaim. And the Israelites served him 8 years. But when the Israelites cried out to the Lord, he raised up Othniel, son of Caleb's younger brother Kenaz, as a deliverer to save them. The Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he became Israel's judge and went out to war. And the Lord delivered Cushan-Rishathaim, Cushan-Rishathaim. And the Lord delivered Cushan-Rishathaim, king of Aram, into the hand of Othniel, who prevailed against him. So the land had rest for 40 years, until Othniel son of Kenaz died. Once again the Israelites did evil in the sight of the Lord. So he gave Eglon king of Moab power over Israel, because they had done evil in the sight of the Lord. After enlisting the Ammonites and Amalekites to join forces with him, Eglon attacked and defeated Israel, taking possession of the city of palms. The Israelites served Eglon king of Moab 18 years. And again they cried out to the Lord, and he raised up Ehud son of Gera, a left-handed Benjamite, as their deliverer. So they sent him with tribute to Eglon king of Moab. Now Ehud had made for himself a double-edged sword a cubit long. He strapped it to his right thigh under his cloak, and brought the tribute to Eglon king of Moab, who was an obese man. After Ehud had finished presenting the tribute, he ushered out those who had carried it. But upon reaching the idols near Gilgal, he himself turned back and said, "I have a secret message for you, O king." "Silence," said the king, and all his attendants left him. Then Ehud approached him while he was sitting alone in the coolness of his upper room. "I have a word from God for you," Ehud said, and the king rose from his seat. And Ehud reached with his left hand, pulled the sword from his right thigh, and plunged it into Eglon's belly. Even the handle sank in after the blade, and Eglon's fat closed in over it, so that Ehud did not withdraw the sword from his belly, and Eglon's bowels emptied. Then Ehud went out through the porch, closing and locking the doors of the upper room behind him. After Ehud was gone, Eglon's servants came in and found the doors of the upper room locked. "He must be relieving himself in the cool room," they said. So they waited until they became worried and saw that he had still not opened the doors of the upper room. Then they took the key and opened the doors, and there was their lord lying dead on the floor. Ehud, however, had escaped while the servants waited. He passed by the idols and escaped to Sarah. On arriving in Sarah, he blew the ram's horn throughout the hill country of Ephraim. The Israelites came down with him from the hills, and he became their leader. My slide program is just freezing up, so let me reset it. Don't know why. "Follow me," he told them, "for the Lord has delivered your enemies, the Moabites. For the Lord has delivered your enemies, the Moabites, into your hand." So they followed him down and seized the fords of the Jordan leading to Moab, and did not allow anyone to cross over. At that time they struck down about 10,000 Moabites, all robust and valiant men. Not one of them escaped. So Moab was subdued under the hand of Israel that day, and the land had rest for 80 years. And after Ehud came Shamgar son of Anath, and he too saved Israel, striking down 600 Philistines with an ox goad. Yeah. Oh man, I don't like standing. It sucks. This is a really long reading too. Probably just do one more reading over that direction after I'm done with this one, hopefully. And then maybe I can sit down. That would be really nice. Oh, what just happened? Nothing. Judges chapter 4. After Ehud died, the Israelites again did evil in the sight of the Lord. So the Lord sold... Wow, that is a loud crow. Let's start over. Judges chapter 4. After Ehud died, the Israelites again did evil in the sight of the Lord. So the Lord sold them into the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan, who reigned in Hazor. The commander of his forces was Sisera, who lived in Harosheth Hagoyim. Then the Israelites cried out to the Lord, because Jabin had 900 chariots of iron, and he had harshly oppressed the Israelites for 20 years. Now Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lapidoth, was judging Israel at that time. And she would sit under the palm of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel in the hill country of Ephraim, where the Israelites would go up to her for judgment. She summoned Barak son of Abinoam from Kadesh in Naphtali and said to him, Surely the Lord, the God of Israel, is commanding you, Go and march to Mount Tabor, taking with you 10,000 men of Naphtali and Zebulun. And I will draw out Sisera, the commander of Jabin's army, his chariots and his troops, to the river Kishon, and I will deliver him into your hand. Barak said to her, If you will go with me, I will go, but if you will not go with me, I will not go. I will certainly go with you, Deborah replied, but the road you are taking will bring you no honor, because the Lord will be selling Sisera into the hand of a woman. So Deborah got up and went with Barak to Kadesh, where he summoned Zebulun and Naphtali. 10,000 men followed him, and Deborah also went with him. Now Heber the Kenite had moved away from the Kenites, the descendants of Hobab, the father-in-law of Moses, and had pitched his tent by the great tree of Zananim, which was near Kadesh. When Sisera was told that Barak son of Abinoam had gone up Mount Tabor, he summoned all 900 of his iron chariots and all the men with him, from Harosheth Hagoyim to the river Kishon. Then Deborah said to Barak, Arise, for this is the day that the Lord has delivered Sisera into your hand. Has not the Lord gone before you? So Barak came down from Mount Tabor with 10,000 men following him, and in front of him the Lord routed with the sword Sisera. And in front of him the Lord routed with the sword Sisera, all his charioteers, and all his army. Sisera abandoned his chariot and fled on foot. Then Barak pursued the chariots and army as far as Harosheth Hagoyim, and the whole army of Sisera fell by the sword. Not a single man was left. Meanwhile Sisera had fled on foot to the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite, because there was peace between Jabin king of Hazor and the house of Heber the Kenite. Jael went out to greet Sisera and said to him, Come in, my lord. Come in with me. Do not be afraid. So he entered her tent, and she covered him with a blanket. Sisera said to her, Please give me a little water to drink, for I am thirsty. So she opened a container of milk, gave him a drink, and covered him again. Stand at the entrance to the tent, he said, and if anyone comes and asks you, Is there a man here? Say no. But as he lay sleeping from exhaustion, Heber's wife Jael took a tent peg, grabbed a hammer, and went silently to Sisera. She drove the peg through his temple and into the ground, and he died. When Barak arrived in pursuit of Sisera, Jael went out to greet him and said to him, Come, and I will show you the man you are seeking. So he went in with her, and there lay Sisera dead, with a tent peg through his temple. On that day God subdued Jabin king of Canaan before the Israelites, and the hand of the Israelites grew stronger and stronger against Jabin king of Canaan until they destroyed him. Okay, one more chapter. This feels like the longest reading ever. Mainly because I'm standing and not wanting to stand. It's really rough on my feet. Ugh. John chapter 21. Later, by the Sea of Tiberias, Jesus again revealed himself to the disciples. He made himself known in this way. Simon Peter, Thomas called Didymus, Nathanael from Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, and 2 other disciples were together. Simon Peter told them, "I am going fishing." "We will go with you," they said. So they went out and got into the boat, but caught nothing that night. Early in the morning, Jesus stood on the shore, but the disciples did not recognize that it was Jesus. So he called out to them, "Children, do you have any fish?" "No," they answered. He told them, "Cast the net on the right side of the boat, and you will find some." So they cast it there, and they were unable to haul it in because of the great number of fish. Then the disciple whom Jesus loved said to Peter, "It is the Lord." As soon as Simon Peter heard that it was the Lord, he put on his outer garment, for he had removed it, and jumped into the sea. The other disciples came ashore in the boat. They dragged in the net full of fish, for they were not far from land, only about 100 yards. When they landed, they saw a charcoal fire there with fish on it and some bread. Jesus told them, "Bring some of the fish you have just caught." So Simon Peter went aboard and dragged the net ashore. It was full of large fish, 153. But even with so many, the net was not torn. "Come, have breakfast," Jesus said to them. None of the disciples dared to ask him, "Who are you?" They knew it was the Lord. Jesus came and took the bread and gave it to them, and he did the same with the fish. This was now the 3rd time that Jesus appeared to the disciples after he was raised from the dead. When they had finished eating, Jesus asked Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" "Yes, Lord," he answered. "You know that I love you." Jesus replied, "Feed my lambs." Jesus asked a 2nd time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" "Yes, Lord," he answered. "You know I love you." Jesus told him, "Shepherd my sheep." Jesus asked a 3rd time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was deeply hurt that Jesus had asked him a 3rd time, "Do you love me?" "Lord, you know all things," he replied. "You know I love you." Jesus said to him, "Feed my sheep. Truly, truly, I tell you, when you were young, you dressed yourself and walked where you wanted. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands, and someone else will dress you and lead you where you do not want to go." Jesus said this to indicate the kind of death by which Peter would glorify God. And after he had said this, he told him, "Follow me." Peter turned and saw the disciple whom Jesus loved following them. He was the one who had leaned back against Jesus at the supper to ask, "Lord, who is going to betray you?" When Peter saw him, he asked, "Lord, what about him?" Jesus answered, "If I want him to remain until I return, what is that to you? You, follow me." Because of this, the rumor spread among the brothers that this disciple would not die. However, Jesus did not say that he would not die, but only, "If I want him to remain until I return, what is that to you?" This is the disciple who testifies to these things and who has written them down, and we know that his testimony is true. There are many more things that Jesus did. If all of them were written down, I suppose that not even the world itself would have space for the books that would be written. Okay, man. Oh, my back is going to be really stiff and my feet hurt. Oh, I just can't standing. It's terrible, horrible. All right, so I'm going to show you the real main attraction, whatever. It's all really cool up here. I'll just Oh, why is that not straight? That's weird. Let me try to get that level. Oops. There we go. That should be better. I guess it doesn't necessarily stay level when I go around, but whatever, it's fine. I don't really understand the logic of that, but ow. Anyway, this is kind of the main attraction. Got another mountain over that way and big lake. Oh man, it's getting cold. I might have to throw my jacket on. Okay. I'm gonna try sitting over here in the sand or whatever, because I just can't stand up anymore. This will probably be the last reading up here. I mean, I could possibly do one somewhere on the way back, but I think I should start heading back. So. Oh, yeah, it's cold. Oh yeah, I just remembered a place on the way back that if I can, I'll try to read there. Yeah, this is a pretty long reading also. I don't know if I'll have time for more readings on the way back. So I'll be doing this reading for quite a while. Oh, let me make sure I got this on the right side. Actually, where should I sit? Maybe I want to not necessarily cover up the mountain. Let's see. I don't know. Actually, if I put it that way, that should work. I'm going to put it on the right hand side. Enough room. Okay. Oh. I think I can sit down because I'm almost certain that the cell tower's on this side of the mountain. The signal showing up here looks really good. Okay, so we're going to read Judges 5 through 8 and Acts 1. There's also no breeze when I come over here, so at least for the moment, it's nice. Getting kind of cold. I'm really glad I brought this jacket, and I was also a little bit worried it might rain while I was up here, so it doesn't look like it will, but some of these clouds I'm not really sure what to make of them. The reason it looks so like misty is there's a wildfire around here somewhere, or a couple of them. You know, there's always wildfires, but at least I'm pretty sure that's the reason. I don't actually smell any smoke, but it's obviously there. Man, there are a ton of these nails. They must have had a tower up here or something at some time ago. A bunch of rusted nails and a piece of glass. I'm afraid I'm going to sit on one. Judges chapter 5. On that day Deborah and Barak son of Abinoam sang this song. When the princes take the lead in Israel, when the people volunteer, bless the Lord. Listen, O kings, give ear, O princes. I will sing to the Lord. I will sing praise to the Lord, the God of Israel. O Lord, when you went out from Seir, when you marched from the land of Edom, the earth trembled, the heavens poured out rain, and the clouds poured down water. The mountains quaked before the Lord, the one of Sinai, before the Lord, the God of Israel. In the days of Shamgar, son of Anath, in the days of Jael, the highways were deserted, and the travelers took the byways. Life in the villages ceased. It ended in Israel until I, Deborah, arose, a mother in Israel. When they chose new gods, then war came to their gates. Not a shield or spear was found among 40,000 in Israel. My heart is with the princes of Israel, with the volunteers among the people. Bless the Lord. You who ride white donkeys, who sit on saddle blankets, and you who travel the road, ponder the voices of the singers at the watering places. There they shall recount the righteous acts of the Lord, the righteous deeds of his villagers in Israel. Then the people of the Lord went down to the gates. Awake, awake, O Deborah! Awake, awake, sing a song! Arise, O Barak, and take hold of your captives, O son of Abinoam. Then the survivors came down to the nobles. The people of the Lord came down to me against the mighty. Some came from Ephraim with their roots in Amalek. Benjamin came with your people after you. The commanders came down from Machir, the bearers of the marshal's staff from Zebulun. The princes of Issachar were with Deborah, and Issachar was with Barak, rushing into the valley at his heels. In the clans of Reuben there was great indecision. Why did you sit among the sheepfolds to hear the whistling for the flocks? In the clans of Reuben there was great indecision. Gilead remained beyond the Jordan. Dan, why did you linger by the ships? Asher stayed at the coast and remained in his harbors. Zebulun was a people who risked their lives. Naphtali, too, on the heights of the battlefield. Kings came and fought. Then the kings of Canaan fought at Tanakh by the waters of Megiddo, but they took no plunder of silver. From the heavens the stars fought. From the courses they fought against Sisera. The river Kishon swept them away. The ancient river, the river Kishon. March on, O my soul, in strength. Then the hoofs of horses thundered, the mad galloping of his stallions. Curse Meroz, says the angel of the Lord. Bitterly curse her inhabitants, for they did not come to help the Lord against the mighty. Most blessed among women is Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite, most blessed of tent-dwelling women. He asked for water, and she gave him milk. In a magnificent bowl she brought him curds. She reached for the tent peg, her right hand for the workman's hammer. She struck Sisera and crushed his skull. She shattered and pierced his temple. At her feet he collapsed. He fell. There he lay still. At her feet he collapsed. He fell. Where he collapsed, there he fell dead. Sisera's mother looked through the window. She peered through the lattice and lamented. Why is his chariot so long in coming? What has delayed the clatter of his chariots? Her wisest ladies answer. Indeed, she keeps telling herself, are they not finding and dividing the spoil? A girl or two for each warrior, a plunder of dyed garments for Sisera, the spoil of embroidered garments for the neck of the looter. So may all your enemies perish, O Lord. But may those who love you shine like the sun at its brightest. And the land had rest for 40 years. Judges chapter 6. Again the Israelites did evil in the sight of the Lord. So he delivered them into the hand of Midian for 7 years. And the hand of Midian prevailed against Israel. Because of the Midianites, the Israelites prepared shelters for themselves in the mountains, caves, and strongholds. Whenever the Israelites would plant their crops, the Midianites, Amalekites, and other people of the east would come up and invade them, encamping against them as far as Gaza and destroying the produce of the land. They left Israel with no sustenance, neither sheep nor oxen nor donkeys. For the Midianites came with their livestock and their tents like a great swarm of locusts. They and their camels were innumerable, and they entered the land to ravage it. Israel was greatly impoverished by Midian, and the Israelites cried out to the Lord. Now when the Israelites cried out to the Lord because of Midian, he sent them a prophet who told them, This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. I brought you up out of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. I delivered you out of the hands of Egypt and all your oppressors. I drove them out before you and gave you their land. And I said to you, I am the Lord your God. You must not fear the gods of the Amorites, in whose land you dwell. But you did not obey me. Then the angel of the Lord came and sat down under the oak in Ophrah that belonged to Joash the Abiezrite, where his son Gideon was threshing wheat in a winepress to hide it from the Midianites. And the angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon and said, The Lord is with you, O mighty man of valor. Please, my Lord, Gideon replied, if the Lord is with us, why has all this happened to us? And where are all his wonders of which our fathers told us, saying, Has not the Lord brought us up out of Egypt? But now the Lord has forsaken us, and delivered us into the hand of Midian. The Lord turned to him and said, Go in the strength you have, and save Israel from the hand of Midian. Am I not sending you? Please, my Lord, Gideon replied, how can I save Israel? Indeed, my clan is the weakest in Manasseh, and I am the youngest in my father's house. Surely I will be with you, the Lord replied, and you will strike down all the Midianites as one man. Gideon answered, If I have found favor in your sight, give me a sign that it is you speaking with me. Please do not depart from this place until I return to you. Let me bring my offering and set it before you. And the Lord said, I will stay until you return. So Gideon went in and prepared a young goat, and unleavened bread, and an ephah of flour. He placed the meat in a basket, and the broth in a pot, and brought them out to present to him under the oak. And the angel of God said to him, Take the meat and the unleavened bread, "Lay them on this rock, and pour out the broth." And Gideon did so. Then the angel of the Lord extended the tip of the staff that was in his hand, and touched the meat and the unleavened bread. And fire flared from the rock, and consumed the meat and the unleavened bread. Then the angel of the Lord vanished from his sight. When Gideon realized that it was the angel of the Lord, he said, "Oh no, Lord God! I have seen the angel of the Lord face to face." But the Lord said to him, "Peace be with you. Do not be afraid, for you will not die." So Gideon built an altar to the Lord there, and called it, "The Lord is Peace." To this day it stands in Ophrah of the Abiezrites. On that very night the Lord said to Gideon, "Take your father's young bull and a second bull 7 years old, tear down your father's altar to Baal, and cut down the Asherah pole beside it. Then build a proper altar to the Lord your God on the top of this stronghold. And with the wood of the Asherah pole you cut down, take the second bull and offer it as a burnt offering." So Gideon took 10 of his servants and did as the Lord had told him. But because he was too afraid of his father's household and the men of the city, he did it by night rather than in the daytime. When the men of the city got up in the morning, there was Baal's altar torn down, with the Asherah pole cut down beside it, and the second bull offered up on the newly built altar. "Who did this?" they said to one another. And after they had investigated thoroughly, they were told, "Gideon, son of Joash, did it." Then the men of the city said to Joash, "Bring out your son. He must die, because he has torn down Baal's altar and cut down the Asherah pole beside it." But Joash said to all who stood against him, "Are you contending for Baal? Are you trying to save him? Whoever pleads his case will be put to death by morning. If Baal is a god, let him contend for himself with the one who has torn down his altar." So on that day Gideon was called Jerubbaal, that is to say, "Let Baal contend with him," because he had torn down Baal's altar. Then all the Midianites, Amalekites, and other people of the east gathered together, crossed over the Jordan, and encamped in the valley of Jezreel. So the Spirit of the Lord came upon Gideon, who blew the ram's horn, and rallied the Abiezrites behind him. Calling them to arms, Gideon sent messengers throughout Manasseh, as well as Asher, Zebulun, and Naphtali, so that they came up to meet him. Then Gideon said to God, "If you are going to save Israel by my hand, as you have said, then behold, I will place a fleece of wool on the threshing floor. If there is dew only on the fleece and all the ground is dry, then I will know that you are going to save Israel by my hand, as you have said." And that is what happened. When Gideon arose the next morning, he squeezed the fleece and wrung out the dew, a bowl full of water. Then Gideon said to God, "Do not be angry with me. Let me speak one more time. Please allow me one more test with the fleece. This time let it be dry, and the ground covered with dew." And that night God did so. Only the fleece was dry, and dew covered the ground. Judges chapter 7. Early in the morning, Jerubbaal, that is, Gideon, and all the men with him camped beside the spring of Harod. And the camp of Midian was north of them in the valley near the hill of Moreh. Then the Lord said to Gideon, "You have too many people for me to deliver Midian into their hands, lest Israel glorify themselves over me, saying, 'My own hand has saved me.' Now therefore proclaim in the hearing of the people, 'Whoever is fearful and trembling may turn back and leave Mount Gilead.' So 22,000 of them turned back, but 10,000 remained. Then the Lord said to Gideon, 'There are still too many people. Take them down to the water, and I will sift them for you there. If I say to you, this one shall go with you, he shall go. But if I say, this one shall not go with you, he shall not go.' So Gideon brought the people down to the water, and the Lord said to him, Separate those who lap the water with their tongues like a dog from those who kneel to drink. And the number of those who lapped the water with their hands to their mouths was 300 men. All the others knelt to drink. Then the Lord said to Gideon, with the 300 men who lapped the water, I will save you and deliver the Midianites into your hand, but all the others are to go home. So Gideon sent the rest of the Israelites to their tents, but kept the 300 men, who took charge of the provisions and ram's horns of the others. And the camp of Midian lay below him in the valley. That night the Lord said to Gideon, Get up and go down against the camp, for I have delivered it into your hand. But if you are afraid to do so, then go down to the camp with your servant Purah, and listen to what they are saying. Then your hands will be strengthened to attack the camp. So he went down with Purah his servant to the outposts where armed men were guarding the camp. Now the Midianites, Amalekites, and all the other people of the east had settled in the valley like a swarm of locusts, and their camels were as countless as the sand on the seashore. And as Gideon arrived, a man was telling his friend about a dream. Behold, I had a dream, he said, and I saw a loaf of barley bread come tumbling into the Midianite camp. It struck the tent so hard that the tent overturned and collapsed. His friend replied, This is nothing less than the sword of Gideon, son of Joash, the Israelite. God has delivered Midian and the whole camp into his hand. When Gideon heard the dream and its interpretation, he bowed in worship. He returned to the camp of Israel and said, Get up, for the Lord has delivered the camp of Midian into your hand. And he divided the 300 men into 3 companies, and gave each man a ram's horn in one hand, and a large jar in the other, containing a torch. Watch me and do as I do, Gideon said. When I come to the outskirts of the camp, do exactly as I do. When I and all who are with me blow our horns, then you are also to blow your horns from all around the camp and shout, For the Lord and for Gideon. Gideon and the 100 men with him reached the outskirts of the camp at the beginning of the middle watch, just after the changing of the guard. They blew their horns and broke the jars that were in their hands. The 3 companies blew their horns and shattered their jars. Holding the torches in their left hands and the horns in their right hands, they shouted, A sword for the Lord and for Gideon! Each Israelite took his position around the camp, and the entire Midianite army fled, crying out as they ran. And when the 300 rams' horns sounded, the Lord set all the men in the camp against one another with their swords. The army fled to Beth-shittah toward Zererah, as far as the border of Abel-Meholah near Tabbath. Then the men of Israel were called out from Naphtali, Asher, and all Manasseh, and they pursued the Midianites. Gideon sent messengers throughout the hill country of Ephraim to say, Come down against the Midianites and seize the waters of the Jordan ahead of them as far as Beth-barah. So all the men of Ephraim were called out, and they captured the waters of the Jordan as far as Beth-barah. They also captured Oreb and Zeb, the 2 princes of Midian, and they killed Oreb at the rock of Oreb and Zeb at the winepress of Zeb. So they pursued the Midianites and brought the heads of Oreb and Zeb to Gideon on the other side of the Jordan. Oh. Then the men of Ephraim said, I forgot to say the chapter name. Judges chapter 8. Then the men of Ephraim said to Gideon, Why have you done this to us? Why did you fail to call us when you went to fight against Midian? And they contended with him violently. But Gideon answered them, Now what have I accomplished compared to you? Are not the gleanings of Ephraim better than the grape harvest of Abiezer? God has delivered Oreb and Zeb, the 2 princes of Midian, into your hand. What was I able to do compared to you?" When he had said this, their anger against him subsided. Then Gideon and his 300 men came to the Jordan and crossed it, exhausted yet still in pursuit. So Gideon said to the men of Succoth, "Please give my troops some bread, for they are exhausted, and I am still pursuing Zebah and Zalmunna, the kings of Midian." But the leaders of Succoth asked, "Are the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna already in your possession, that we should give bread to your army?" "Very well." "Very well," Gideon replied. "When the Lord has delivered Zebah and Zalmunna into my hand, I will tear your flesh with the thorns and briars of the wilderness." From there he went up to Penuel and asked the same from them. But the men of Penuel gave the same response as the men of Succoth. So Gideon told the men of Penuel, "When I return in triumph, I will tear down this tower." Now Zebah and Zalmunna were in Karkor with their army of about 15,000 men, all that were left of the armies of the people of the east. 120,000 swordsmen had already fallen. And Gideon went up by way of the caravan route east of Nobah and Jogbehah, and he attacked their army, taking them by surprise. When Zebah and Zalmunna fled, Gideon pursued and captured these 2 kings of Midian, routing their entire army. After this, Gideon son of Joash returned from the battle along the ascent of Heres. There he captured a young man of Succoth and interrogated him. The young man wrote down for him the names of the 77 leaders and elders of Succoth. And Gideon went to the men of Succoth and said, "Here are Zebah and Zalmunna, about whom you taunted me, saying, 'Are the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna already in your possession, that we should give bread to your weary men?'" Then he took the elders of the city, and using the thorns and briars of the wilderness, he disciplined the men of Succoth. He also pulled down the tower of Penuel and killed the men of the city. Next Gideon asked Zebah and Zalmunna, "What kind of men did you kill at Tabor?" "Men like you," they answered, "each one resembling the son of a king." "They were my brothers," Gideon replied, "the sons of my mother. As surely as the Lord lives, if you had let them live, I would not kill you." So he said to Jether, his firstborn, "Get up and kill them." But the young man did not draw his sword. He was fearful because he was still a youth. Then Zebah and Zalmunna said, "Get up and kill us yourself, for as the man is, so is his strength." So Gideon got up and killed Zebah and Zalmunna, and he took the crescent ornaments from the necks of their camels. Then the Israelites said to Gideon, "Rule over us, you and your son and grandson, for you have saved us from the hand of Midian." But Gideon replied, "I will not rule over you, nor will my son. The Lord shall rule over you." Then he added, "Let me make a request of you, that each of you give me an earring from his plunder." For the enemies had gold earrings because they were Ishmaelites. "We will give them gladly," they replied. So they spread out a garment, and each man threw an earring from his plunder onto it. The weight of the gold earrings he had requested was 1,700 shekels, in addition to the crescent ornaments, the pendants, and the purple garments of the kings of Midian, and the chains from the necks of their camels. From all this Gideon made an ephod, which he placed in Ophrah, his hometown. But soon all Israel prostituted themselves by worshipping it there, and it became a snare to Gideon and his household. In this way Midian was subdued before the Israelites, and did not raise its head again. So the land had rest for 40 years in the days of Gideon. And he, Jerubbaal, son of Joash, returned home and settled down. Gideon had 70 sons of his own, since he had many wives. His concubine, who dwelt in Shechem, also bore him a son, and he named him Abimelech. Later, Gideon son of Joash died at a ripe old age, and was buried in the tomb of his father Joash in Ophrah of the Abiezrites. And as soon as Gideon was dead, the Israelites turned and prostituted themselves with the Baals, and they set up Baal-berith as their god. The Israelites failed to remember the Lord their God, who had delivered them from the hands of all their enemies on every side. They did not show kindness to the house of Jerubbaal, that is Gideon, for all the good things he had done for Israel. All right, I don't think I'll be able to do any more readings on the way. It's getting kind of late. This will be the last one, most likely. I don't even know how many I've done. I've lost count. At least a week's worth, though. That's usually my goal when I have a day like this. Acts chapter 1. In my first book, O Theophilus, I wrote about all that Jesus began to do and to teach, until the day he was taken up to heaven, after giving instructions through the Holy Spirit to the apostles he had chosen. After his suffering, he presented himself to them with many convincing proofs that he was alive. He appeared to them over a span of 40 days and spoke about the kingdom of God. And while they were gathered together, he commanded them, "Do not leave Jerusalem, but wait for the gift the Father promised, which you have heard me discuss. For John baptized with water, but in a few days you will be baptized with the Holy Spirit." So when they came together, they asked him, "Lord, will you at this time restore the kingdom to Israel?" Jesus replied, "It is not for you to know times or seasons that the Father has fixed by his own authority. But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes upon you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem and in Judea and Samaria and to the ends of the earth." After he had said this, they watched as he was taken up, and a cloud hid him from their sight. They were looking intently into the sky as he was going, when suddenly 2 men dressed in white stood beside them. "Men of Galilee," they said, "why do you stand here looking into the sky? This same Jesus who has been taken from you into heaven will come back in the same way you have seen him go into heaven." Then they returned to Jerusalem from the Mount of Olives, which is near the city, a Sabbath day's journey away. When they arrived, they went to the upper room where they were staying. Peter and John, James and Andrew, Philip and Thomas, Bartholomew and Matthew, James son of Alphaeus, Simon the Zealot, and Judas son of James. With one accord they all continued in prayer, along with the women and Mary the mother of Jesus, and with his brothers. In those days Peter stood up among the brothers, a gathering of about 120, and said, "Brothers, the scripture had to be fulfilled, which the Holy Spirit foretold through the mouth of David concerning Judas, who became a guide for those who arrested Jesus. He was one of our number and shared in this ministry. Now with the reward for his wickedness, Judas bought a field. There he fell headlong and burst open in the middle, and all his intestines spilled out. This became known to all who lived in Jerusalem, so they called that field in their own language, Akeldama, that is, field of blood. For it is written in the book of Psalms, 'May his place be deserted, let there be no one to dwell in it, and may another take his position. Therefore it is necessary to choose one of the men who have accompanied us the whole time the Lord Jesus went in and out among us, beginning from John's baptism until the day Jesus was taken up from us. For one of these must become a witness with us of his resurrection.' So they proposed 2 men, Joseph called Barsabbas, also known as Justus, and Matthias. And they prayed, 'Lord, you know everyone's heart. Show us which of these 2 you have chosen to take up this ministry and apostleship which Judas abandoned to go to his rightful place. Then they cast lots, and the lot fell to Matthias, so he was added to the 11 apostles." All right. I think that is good for today. think I read a little bit more than a week, not like a lot more, just maybe a week and 2 days or something like that. It's good enough for, I mean, I would read more, but I need to get going before it gets dark. Thankfully, since it was an uphill battle to get here, so to speak. Thought that was a shiny piece there. I need to drink some water. I think my leg just cramped. Since it was an uphill all the way, it should be downhill and pretty easy on the way back, but I still need to get going here. Because it was a pretty long hike, to be honest. Alright, I've kept it going long enough. So thanks for joining me. Oh man, I'm sore. Ouch. Hopefully I can get back. Thanks for joining me. I will catch you all next time.